Hello, everyone, and welcome to our first virtual career fair in partnership with Interview Now, a Bay Area tech startup that aims to assist in hiring better people for law enforcement. Today, we will be rolling out a new product called Connect, C-O-N-N-E-C-T, as you see here. It makes it easier to connect job seekers and law enforcement agencies with a simple text. You have exclusive opportunity to test out Connect today, sending your information to our presenting agencies and other departments across the country. My name is Jim Dudley, and I'll be your host for today. A little bit about myself. I've been 32 years in law enforcement with the San Francisco Police Department, serving in every rank, from patrol officer, sergeant, lieutenant, captain, commander, up to deputy chief. I served in all the bureaus from patrol through investigations and special operations. Right now, I'm in my 8th year of teaching criminal justice studies at San Francisco State University. And I do a podcast and I write for policeone.com. So check it out, Jim Dudley at policeone.com. So we're very excited to announce our lineup of speakers today, coming from departments big and small from all over the country. In today's event, we have recruiters from Dane County, Wisconsin, the New York State Police, the Aurora Police Department in Aurora, Colorado, Washington, D.C. Metropolitan Police, and Sunnyvale Department of Public Safety. Quick icebreaker before we get into the agenda today. Can I have all the students type in the chat what college you attend, and I'll give you a couple seconds to do that. In today's agenda, we'll have each recruiter speak for about 10 minutes, and we'll have a 5-minute question and answer portion after every speaker. So make sure to type any and all questions into the chat to the right of this live stream. We hope you guys are paying close attention and taking good notes, because at the end of the broadcast, we're going to have a competition for a chance to win $500. You should have gotten the link in the Eventbrite email, but if not, it will be put into the chat before the start of the competition. Okay, without further ado, please welcome Deputy Bowers from the Dane County Sheriff's Office. Deputy Bowers.
All right, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, I can't hear you.
You cannot?
Okay, I can hear you now. There you go.
Okay. Yeah, some technical difficulties. This is what you get with live stream TV.
Yeah, absolutely. I know. I get it.
So
And
tell us.
Never works the way you want it to when you need it to, right?
Right. Well, tell us about your department. What can the students or the applicants look forward to?
Let's see. So with our department, we're a little bit different as far as the way that we kind of go about things when it comes to starting out deputies. Usually we start all of our deputies out in the jail actually, and kind of like go through like your probationary stage and pretty much based off of seniority mostly. And the idea behind that is helping people to build relationships with the people that you are more than likely, unfortunately, going to see a lot once you get out to the road. So that you've kind of built those rapports, and they already know kind of how you go about your business. And it also it helps to be able to deal with different conflicts and stuff too. I
Mhm.
mean, like one of my first times working in the jail, I thought that I had it down as far as when it came to dealing with conflict and like talking to big groups of people and like everybody looking to you for what decisions you're gonna make. And as soon as I got left alone with the big group of people in a pod by myself as the deputy, I was like, man, like this is a little bit more a little more
Real life.
difficult than what I thought it was going. Yeah, I'm like everybody's looking to me to make a decision now. I'm like, okay, voice was a little shaky, a little nervous, but over time, I mean, it definitely helped as far as like finding ways to relate to people more often, and just finding ways to connect one way or another, which definitely helps because I mean now when I get out and come in contact with people out on the road and things like that, it definitely helps because it's I definitely learned that aspect of the professional communication side of things too. So.
So Wisconsin, what can a student look forward to relocating to Wisconsin?
So it's I will say it is cold. But definitely gotta be okay with that one. It's cold. You'll get a lot of snow. But I mean, it's definitely I know that the Madison area was one of the top places to move to within the last couple of years as far as millennials.
Yeah.
When it comes to starting their careers because of the opportunities that are
Hmm.
um, available here as a whole. I know a lot of people are moving here just because it's a good place to start families. It's
Yeah.
still a coming city for the most part. The cost of living, I know that I want to say maybe 7% higher than the average across the nation. And I mean, it's definitely been a good spot. I mean, huge sports fans. I mean, if you're into sports, there's definitely stuff to do if you like going outdoors. There's areas nearby to do all that good stuff.
Hmm.
Yeah, and it's just, I mean, so far, I mean, I've lived here for about 3 years now, and I mean, it's definitely it was pretty easy to adjust to the style of living, just because of things that are available. Not too big, but also not too small either.
Sure.
With a lot of close by cities as well, which is nice to be able to travel to.
Yeah. I tell students these days they're in the driver's seat and they should think about, long term for family and cost of living and quality of life. And I know some people
Absolutely.
who've moved to Wisconsin near the Appleton area, and
Okay. Yeah.
yeah, they just say that the housing affordability just, I mean, me here in San Francisco from the West Coast, the housing prices are out of control. And I know they're really good.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And that's the biggest thing too. Is I really didn't. I know, like coming out of school, I really didn't see it as important. I'm like, oh, I just want to go live in a cool place, and make good money. But once you start paying for rent and start looking for houses and things like that, you start to think about like, man, like okay, this is getting a little like you start thinking about what's expensive. You're like, what's more important, what's not. But I know that right now, like it's definitely a good spot when it comes to getting homes and like you said, like as far as like family and stuff like that too. So it's definitely very important.
Yeah. So did we see a YouTube about you? Could you tell us about how you got into why you chose the career in law enforcement?
Yeah, so for myself, I am originally from St. Louis, Missouri. Grew up around like the Ferguson area. Actually like where all the stuff took place, where it was like the protests and everything. I used to walk those streets constantly when I was a little kid. And when that happened, actually, that was once the Michael Brown situation took place in St. Louis. That was kind of the point where I decided that I wanted to go into law enforcement. Once I kind of saw that people within the community were upset about
Mm.
everything that happened between the officer and Michael Brown and him being killed, unfortunately. I that was kind of the day that I decided that law enforcement was what I wanted to do. To kind of help build the bridge the gap between the community as well as law enforcement too. And I mean the way I feel about it, I'm like it's very easy to go out and be upset about things, pissed off about things going on within the community. The way I feel about I'm like we all can go out and protest, we all can go throw stones or whatever the case may be, but the most important thing is actually being a part of that change.
Yeah.
That was kind of the biggest thing is like of course like I was disappointed at the time, but the way that I chose to show my disappointment was actually going into law enforcement to to that way I knew that I had firsthand I was able to be an impact on the people I'm in contact with, and hopefully over time continue to change the culture that the people I work with and the people I come in contact daily. And I mean, it's definitely a slow process, I will say, but I mean, it's definitely one of those things where, there's times where people come up and talk to you like, hey, I thank you for, how you treated me then and how things went. And it definitely goes a long way. And it definitely keeps me going,
Well, that's a great story, and one of the best reasons to get into the career. So, I can't wait to see more young people like you getting into the business and making change from within. That's a great attitude. Is the academy for your agency? Is it sponsored? Do you have to pay for yourself? How's that work?
No, so with us, once you're hired on with our department, what we do is we actually put everybody through academy, so they get the academy's paid for by the department as well as you're being paid full time with full benefits and all that good stuff during as
Awesome.
well.
Awesome. And as a recruiter, did you choose to be a recruiter? Did they seek you out, or how's that work? And what's your job like?
I was actually so when I got hired on, that was kind of one of the positions I wanted to get, just because I love being able to get out and get involved with the community. I feel like this position gives me a good chance to be more involved with the public, and get to be a smiling face everybody sees when it comes to our department and things like that. So I definitely sought it out myself. I think it's kind of one of those situations where it kind of worked out perfectly for myself as well as the agency, the sheriff's office here too. So I think it kind of just was right place, right time, and it kind of worked out for everybody. And so far, everything's been good. So
yeah. Well, these are some of the questions coming in from students watching, and the last question I think is, what sort of opportunities are there for those who are not able to be officers but want to be in law enforcement? Are there periphery jobs in the tech industry, or forensics in the department?
So for us, I know that we do have security support specialists. They actually work in the jail, so they work pretty close to with the deputies essentially, and they kind of do like all like the behind the scenes things like running cell doors, watching cameras, and fingerprints, and and then what happens from there is that they kind of work off into different areas. So whether that's like evidence, and there's kind of seniority base as well. It's like evidence, and then doing scheduling. I mean, it kind of just depends on what area you want to go into. I know like admin or administration, like the program manager and things like that too. So yeah, that's kind of where it kind of works from there. And then of course people start to put in for other positions, kind of getting your foot in the door, and then eventually able to work on from that point.
So I assume that on the website for your agency, Dane County, that any interested people can log on. Maybe they could reach you, and through Connect, we're going to have your information available for students to follow up with more questions.
Okay, awesome. Sounds like a plan.
Great to meet you. Thanks for the story. Thanks for the talk. Hang in there. You're
Most definitely
doing a great job. Get some more good people in.
Absolutely. Yeah. Each and every day working hard to do so. So definitely.
All right. Take care.
Good. Thanks. Have a good one now.
Okay. You too.
All right. Bye.
All right. For anyone who recently joined us, I'm Jim Dudley. Welcome to the virtual career fair. We just heard from Deputy Bowers from Dane County Sheriffs in Wisconsin, and we're going to move right into our other Q&A portion. We just heard about some jobs in Dane County that are not necessarily sworn positions, but they're important and they're sworn positions. So those are available there. And the academy, when a lot of these agencies, unless they say so, you're hired and you go straight into their academy. So there's no added expense or concern for you about training academies. And when I talk to the recruiters, if it's different, I'm sure they'll mention that. I've also heard, what does the department offer for lateral transfers and those with law enforcement experience? We can hear from some of the other recruiters to answer that one. Most agencies, or a lot of agencies, have lateral positions where you've already been working for another agency, you come on over, you might have an abbreviated academy or an abbreviated field training program. Make sure, and after this cast, take a look at the websites and see what the offers are as far as training, lateral positions, bonuses, moving expenses, and things like that. All right, so we're going to move into our next recruiter from the New York State Troopers, and Trooper McLaughlin from the New York State Troopers will join us in a minute. And I'm going to ask Trooper McLaughlin, there you are. How are you?
I'm great. Nice to see you.
Great to see you. What can you tell us about you, how you got there, and what are you offering new recruits?
Great. Thanks for having me today. Hello to everybody out there as well. My name is Trooper McLaughlin. I've been with the New York State Police for 14 years now. Started off as road patrol and worked that for a number of years before becoming a recruiter. Why I chose law enforcement: I was a 28-year-old single mom working 3 jobs. I was a waitress part-time, was an office manager part-time, and I worked in a preschool. So it was a lot, also raising a 5-6-year-old at that time. And I just decided that I'd always been interested in law enforcement. So I just thought, why not? So I started taking civil service tests, and I took 3 different ones, and the state police called, and I moved forward with that, and I've enjoyed it very much. So for me, recruiter came up while I was working road patrol, and I thought, what better way to give back, seeing that this job changed my life for the better, and that I like presenting this job to people of any range, whether they be young and they're in grade school, up to people that are physical therapists at the age of 28 or 29, thinking I just need something different, or in our current climate, just I'd like to see change. How can I bring about that change? Well, be part of the change and think about a career in law enforcement. So for the state police, taking a test is the first part of that process. We typically give our test every few years. We currently had planned to have a test in October of 2020, but due to the current COVID-19 pandemic, we've had to postpone that, and hoping to announce soon a rescheduling of that. Currently, any academies are also on hold, and hoping that we're going to be able to move forward with that soon once we have a better handle of how things are going to progress. But for people that are interested in this job, applying online when applications are open, typically there's a study guide that is available for them to access to help prepare them specifically for our exam. It breaks down for them how many questions are on the test, the different sections that they may experience, along with practice questions and a sample exam. So I feel it's very informative, gives them a better handle how to approach the exam and do well. And then depending on how they perform, we canvas off that list until we administer another exam. So that could be a 2-year period, 3-year period, or 4-year. For myself, I took the test at 28, and I just turned 31 when I got into the academy, but I've heard of individuals who have taken the test and they're in an academy within the year. So for each person, it's a little bit different. So once your rank is reached, We typically from there will walk you through a process where you're doing a physical ability test, which consists of a 1.5 mile run, sit-ups and push-ups that can all be found on our website. In addition to that, we have vision and hearing standards, as well as a tattoo policy. There's educational requirements, a polygraph, but at the beginning, just to take the test, we want you to be at least 20 years of age, not have reached your 30th birthday, although we do make exceptions for individuals who are 30 and older if they have active duty military time. We like a high school education and a US citizen. So those 3 things are the main things we look for to apply: age, citizenship, high school education. Beyond that, we require 60 college credits to get into the academy, and we look for any college credit. So I often tell people, don't think just because you're a PE teacher or you're an accountant or you're a lawyer and you have different education experiences, that's what makes us a diverse organization, I feel. Becoming a recruiter, I love the fact, looking around my station, I had a truck driver who got on the job at 29 and is now a part of our commercial vehicle enforcement unit. We had a loss prevention employee working at like a Walmart or Target, and he now is a drug recognition expert and also used to be a canine handler. A landscaper who's now an investigator in the major crimes unit. So there's so many different things, such a diverse job. And what I love is that us coming from different backgrounds, ethnicity, gender, age, you all bring something different to the job, and that is what we need. So sometimes I may say to my partner, you might be a better fit for this call or this situation, and he might vice versa as well. But the biggest thing in this job is, if I know a lot of people, and for me for many years, thought I couldn't do it. I'm a female, I'm small. I thought you had to be big and kind of that gruff attitude or disposition in order to be a police officer, but that's not the case, because your biggest tool is just communicating, establishing a connection with people, and developing a rapport and showing people respect. And that goes a long way on this job. So a lot of people are drawn to that tool belt on our waist, but really that's your last place to go. Your first thing is to use your mind, to use your voice, and to really connect with people and want to make a difference in the community and serve. This is public service. So we're just looking for awesome people who want to make a change and have a good heart. So sometimes people say, what can I do in the meantime while I'm waiting for you to announce your exam? The first thing is make good choices. That's always important. 2, know our age requirements as well as education. 3, social media, the things that you do, the jobs that you have, just being a good person, following the laws. We do take things on a case-by-case basis. So if there's something from years ago that you're concerned with, I just say, don't disqualify yourself. Let us take a look at your application, and we'll go from there. The only 3 automatic disqualifications are a felony conviction, dishonorably discharged from the military, and if you're completely colorblind. But everything else, welcome.
Great. Yeah, that's great. I love the diversity factor. Students always ask me if a criminal justice degree is necessary to get into law enforcement. And I tell them, no, we've got great philosophers, great history majors, great artists that really do well in policing. You're absolutely right. And I think that's the trend, right? To use your voice and get out of situations that in the past, maybe we went too quick to use force in. So,
Sure.
Yeah.
Part of that is one of our core values is continuous improvement in learning. So as much as I thought, college, I'm done with schooling forever. Then I go to a 6-month residential academy, which is part of our job to become a trooper. And it's very comprehensive, and thinking I'm never going to take another test again. But that's not reality. You need to, whether you're a doctor, a nurse, an accountant, there's constantly changing laws and medical practices, and same in policing. So we frequently have in-service trainings, and just trying to stay ahead of the curve as far as what can we do to do a better job out there to engage the public. We're all humans. As I mentioned earlier in our pre-session, I'm a daughter, I'm a sister,
Sure.
I'm a mom. I have a 21-year-old and a 7-year-old. And And, the state police took a chance on me, a single mom. How am I going to get through a 6-month residential academy? But I can tell you, when you have focus and you have drive, and I'm only working one job now, except for, I think being a mom is also a big job in and of itself. But just being a good person and just saying that I want to pay it forward and serve my community and bring people together, because we need that now more than ever.
Yeah, great. So maybe a little bit of context, and then I've got some questions from students about tattoo policies and the polygraph and backgrounds. But you're talking about a residential academy for 6 months. You go live at a facility.
You do. So anybody can apply to be a state trooper, being that you're a U.S. citizen. But upon entering the academy, you need to be a New York State resident. So that doesn't need to be a concern of everybody. Some people fly in to take the test, whether they're military or an out-of-state resident. And then once you enter the academy, you report on a Sunday night, you go home on a Friday, come back the following Sunday night, and do that for 6 months. And then when you get out, you get stationed somewhere in New York. There is a process in the academy to obviously put people close to where they reside, and that is kind of vetted by how your performance is in the academy, looking for a little incentive there to excel. And so the academy is 6 months long, residential, but it works fine. They serve you breakfast, lunch, and dinner. The dining has improved over the years, a little bit different now than when it was when I went through, but it's great.
Okay. So some of our students are texting in. Do you have tattoo policies there?
We do. So our current tattoo policy is, first of all, you can sit and take the test and apply online and have a tattoo that may violate the policy. And I encourage people to apply and take the test, because at any time we could change the policy. So I can tell you what our policy is now, but if we end up tweaking it, I hate for somebody not to have sat for the exam and 2 months later we implement a new policy. But as of right now, no tattoos that are visible in our short sleeve uniform shirt. So typically there's a little play there. I feel like the shirts sometimes give you a grace period about to the bone of your elbow. And we just evaluate that at our processing weekend, where you're doing the physical ability test, and we're making sure that you have the vision and the hearing and the 60 college credits, and they'll take a picture of your tattoo. We're looking at a symbolic representation of what that is, making sure it matches our value system, as well as, is it visible in a short sleeve shirt? Now, sometimes if it's visible, we've had individuals who are kind of put on pause and they go through a removal process and become troopers, and others that, just say, no, thank you, that represents something personally to me. But that is something at any time. Who knows if that'll change in the future. So please still consider us as an option, as it is 2020. So, but that is our current policy.
Sure. One student asked if there are any job options available if you have limited physical abilities, if you're in a wheelchair, or have some other physical limits.
Sure. So what I'll do is refer them to www.troopers.ny.gov, as well as you can access me through Interview Now, and I can certainly assist you there. But we do employ, I think it's roughly about 1,000 civilian employees. So there's no discrimination there. The hiring policies are completely different than what I'm speaking for today as far as a uniform trooper. They don't have a tattoo policy. There is no age restrictions with that as well. So troopers.ny.gov, click on the employment tab and scroll down to civilian employment, and any civilian employment opportunities are posted there. You could log on for 3 weeks in a row and there's nothing. You go the next day and there's 10 postings there. So that could be for communications specialists, so our dispatchers. That could be for a lab position in the forensic lab there. So there's kind of different applications for different people depending on their backgrounds, but I'd love to give more information on that if they have further questions.
Great, thank you so much. And finally, how long do you have to be a road trooper before you can move on to a specialized unit?
That's a great question. That sometimes depends on the specialized unit. So sometimes it could be anywhere from 2 years after you've graduated from the academy to maybe 4 years, but typically I have seen that 2 to 4 year period kind of the sweet spot, depending on what somebody's background is. You may see them excel earlier than that due to the fact that maybe they were prior military and they may have some specialized training. They may segue into a unit depending on what that unit is and what their needs are. But with the state police, after 4 years as a trooper, you can put in, take a sergeant's test and get promoted through that method. Also with a bachelor's degree, you can put in to be an investigator. After 2 years with a bachelor's degree, you can also apply, if you don't have a bachelor's degree and just have those 60 college credits, 4 years as a road trooper. But our SWAT team, which we call SORT, Special Operations Response Team, Aviation, Dive Team, Snowmobile Unit, Marine Patrol, all of those things are options to individuals who have that interest once they have a few years under their belt. Great question.
Nice to have all those options. Well, thank you, Trooper McLaughlin, for sharing and giving us all the information. I know New York is huge and you have the whole state as your playground. So a lot of options for students seeking the opportunities, and great quality of life, good living standards, and it's affordable still in many parts of the state.
It is, and it's great. You know, starting salary, you know, you're just starting out, I think it's a little over 57,000 now. And then moving on from there after 5 years, starting at 96,000. So it's definitely a great means to provide for your family and to be able to give back to your communities. So thanks for having me, Jim. I appreciate it.
Great to meet you. Great talking to you.
All right.
Okay, we've got quite a few questions coming in from students. Please continue typing in all your questions to the chat. For any newcomers, I'm Jim Dudley. Stick around for your chance to win $500. So who do we have next? We have our next speakers, Officer Wicklund and Officer Seide from Aurora, Colorado Police Department. They'll be telling you about their agency and a little bit about themselves. So welcome, Officer Seide and Officer Wicklund.
Thank you. Hello.
Tell us, go.
Awesome. So I'll start. I'm Officer Wicklund with the Aurora Police Department Recruiting Unit. I have been an officer with the Aurora Police Department for going on 9 years, and in recruiting for going on 3 years now. And it has been a really rewarding career and a rewarding assignment. Recruiting is tons of fun, quite honestly. So I'll let my partner
My name is Abdul Seide. I've been a police officer with Aurora 17 years and 3 years of it now in recruiting. I just love the ability to reach out to the next generation of people that want to come up and be police officers and give us that opportunity to go out and see them and talk to them has been great, and dealing with new challenges now. So we're happy.
Awesome. So tell us a little bit about the department and the application process, maybe the quality of living and the affordability, and how much do you make?
Awesome. So we're the Aurora Police Department. We are just east of the city of Denver. So we share a border. So if you're looking for trying to figure out where Aurora is, we are right there just east of Denver. So I'm going to skip ahead and talk about Colorado really quick, because for those of you listening and those of you participating, I'm guessing that most of you guys are Californians. And so we always like to talk about how Colorado has so much to offer for everybody out there, whether it's the mountains. We do have water. It's not the ocean. It's not as awesome as the ocean, but we have tons of opportunities. If you're active and you're outdoorsy, we are accessible to the mountains within a 45-minute drive to an hour, depending on traffic, of course. And the nice thing about the city of Aurora is that our city is massively booming right now. And so what we always like to talk about is the fact that the city of Aurora is always incorporating, annexing more land. And so our population is just going through the roof. And so how that translates to us on the law enforcement side is that we have a city charter that stipulates we have to have 2 officers per 1,000 residents, which means that we are always hiring. We always are looking to get the next academy in, which for applicants and people who want to get into law enforcement, that's really great news for them, because there's a lot of opportunity for gaining seniority and advancement within the department. So that's what we always like to tell applicants, especially those who have done a little bit of research and talked to other departments and as far as opportunities for advancement and things like that. We are 750 strong right now, and I would hazard a guess that we will hit 1,000 officers in the next 10 years. So there's plenty of opportunity to move up the seniority chain, and then that doesn't even begin to touch on how many special assignments we have in our department and opportunities to move around in our department. And so I don't want to monopolize. And so, buddy, I don't know if you want to chime in with anything.
And I think the other thing that I would add on to that is that Aurora is the hub for medical research now. We have Children's Hospital, we have VA, and we have University Hospital. So not everybody wants to be a police officer. Everybody that might be coming here as a police officer may come with their family. And I think there's a lot of other opportunities for employment for family members to find other jobs away from law enforcement, where maybe one person may have the job as a police officer. We have Cherry Creek school districts in our city as well, which is one of the top ranked school districts. So if you have kids that are looking into, primary school, that's definitely a great place to be. And yeah, just a slew of opportunities. And then the diversity I love about the city of Aurora. In our school system, there's over 105 languages spoken. So we have a huge diverse community from all walks of life. So it's a wonderful place.
And something you'll notice that we're focusing on first is family and opportunities and things you can do outside of the department. So we always try to explain that in this career, not only would you, an applicant, be coming through a law enforcement career, but also your families are going through this with you too. And it's equally as important that they be confident and satisfied in this career choice. And so we, in recruiting, typically focus a lot on family and opportunities and how we support in our department, how we support families just as much as we do the officers who are going through the hiring process and or working in our agency. And so that's why we focus on that. And that's why we always talk about that, so that family members who do have concerns and questions know that their voice is heard and that we are there to help them out as well. And so, do you want me to just jump in the hiring process really quick? Would that be good?
Sure, go for it.
So in our department, we run 2 hiring processes or 2 entry-level academies per year. So we run an academy in August, and then we run one in February. And then for those applicants who are just starting to look into law enforcement or considering law enforcement careers, I always tell them, be prepared to invest about a year's worth of time and energy into a hiring process. So I always like to tell applicants, if you're looking to get into law enforcement, realize you're looking ahead. So for example, we're currently hiring for our February 2021 academy, and then this process will close in approximately a month, and then we'll be looking at August 2021. So you got to look at the long game, and you got to look at the longevity, as far as I'm putting a lot of effort and energy into this, and it's not going to be a quick turnaround. It's a worthy investment. You'll hear that from every single officer and every single person that talks in this presentation today, but it is a lengthy process.
Sure.
So we do hire year round. We're hiring, like I said a minute ago, for February 2021. The typical questions we get are, how many officers are you hiring? And then how do we find out where you're hiring where your application is? And so on average, we are looking for about 35 to 40 officers per academy. We can accommodate up to 50, but 35 to 40 is a more manageable number. And again, we're closing this process on the 26th of July. And so the best part, or the best thing for anybody to do that's interested, is to submit an application through our website, which is very simple. It is aurorapolice.com. And then once you're there, then if you scroll down on that page that it directs you to, there's a picture with a bunch of officers, and on it says join the APD. Click that picture and it'll direct you right to our landing page. And then also the other big thing that I know everybody wants to know is salary, and what is the salary for a starting officer. In our department, the starting salary is $56,984, so approximately $57,000, which is probably low compared to some of those agencies in California. We're very aware of that. However, the cost of living is less expensive in Colorado than it is in California. That's actually 20% less. I just looked up the numbers right before we started this presentation. So you are starting a little lower, but we do have step increases every year. And so in our department, we are currently topped out. After 6 years, you'll be topped out at $92,000, which, keep in mind, in our department, we negotiate our contract to include salary and benefits every 2 years. So by the time that you're looking at hitting that 6-year mark, there's always the likelihood that you're going to be earning more than the $92,000.
Okay.
I think the only other thing I would add on to that, for especially out-of-state applicants, we streamlined the process. In the old days, you had to come out here 4 times in the testing process. and not have a job at the end or maybe get hired. And now we've reduced it down to 2 trips. On that first trip, we'll take care of pretty much about 80% of the testing on the first trip. And then when they go back home, they'll wait out their time for all the other end staters to finish their testing. And then you'll be given a conditional job offer. When you are given that, that's when you come out here for your second visit to finish the remainder of the testing before the academy starts. So we really streamlined it. I think it's been working really well.
Yeah, that's really great to outside applicants. And for the record, I think we're going on this broadcast outside of California and all over. So
Fantastic.
yeah, no, and it's great. And no, the affordability factor, yeah, you've got to weigh both the costs and the income. And I think it's a pretty good deal there. And you can't beat the countryside.
No, not at all.
So for the process, we've heard about the process a little bit. You've heard some of the other questions about ADA accommodations for other duties at the department. Any accommodations, or do you hire other positions that don't require you to have the full capability of a police officer?
Do you want to tackle that, buddy, or you want me to?
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
So yeah, we do hire for other positions. However, we particularly are hiring for the sworn personnel. With that being said, there are a lot of civilian positions in our department that we actively advertise for, whether it's the crime scene investigators, whether it is the property technicians, front desk technicians, records technicians. There are a slew of different opportunities where if people don't want to become police officers, and we get it, we understand that that's not everybody's dream career. We do have opportunities for them to work in the civilian side of things. That would be a separate process, independent of what we do, but we will be happy to, if anybody has questions, connect those people to those processes and those supervisors. And we always like to say that we can give you the bare bones requirements, but we are not CSI technicians. We are not experts for all of these other positions, but we do have them available.
Okay. So some of the questions coming in from the students include the background and the polygraph. Any tips, or do you see any bumps in the road that you've seen in the past?
Buddy, you start and then I'll go.
Sure. I think when it comes to background, it's just being forthcoming and honest. Of course, that's the name of the game, right? We're being hired for integrity, and that's the number one thing. And so when the background packet is given to us or to an applicant, they need to be very thorough. I think the time to do the homework for a background packet is today. And we always make the recommendation, start, putting your history together for the last 20 years, if you have 20 years. If you're 21, that's fine. It just makes it a lot easier, right? But if you're in your late 30s or something, start looking for that 20-year history. I think if that gives you a good, baseline to go with as far as what we're looking for. And I think if you do the homework now, you're not waiting, because in our process, when somebody gets to background phase, usually they'll tell me, hey, you have 2 weeks or 10 days to finish this. And trying to get all that information in such a short time is really difficult. So we just try to tell them, hey, start now, put it all together, and just be forthcoming and don't undermine anything. If you may not think it's important, but the background investigator may think it is. So just put it all out there.
Yeah, that's great advice, getting that ahead of time. I'm sorry, can I just interject though, with the background and the polygraph, of course, be honest, that's the number one, forthright. Marijuana is legal in Colorado, yes?
It is, you're correct. And in Colorado, like we always explain to our applicants when we do a seminar, we always tell them, hey, it's legal, but for us, it is not. And so for our applicants in our department, every department varies a little bit in Colorado, but for the city of Aurora, we require that you not possess, consume any marijuana in any form or any derivative for a period of 365 days prior to applying. So I would say that when you're putting together your background, like my partner was explaining, sit there and think, hey, when's the last time I did this? We don't expect perfect angel people who are to apply for the police department. That's not what we're expecting. We know you're going to have life experience and other things of that nature, but just realize you do have to wait 365 days. Now, if you wait your 365 days and you come out and apply at 370 days, it's not going to look bad. Some people ask, well, do I need to wait a little longer? Nope. We get it. We understand. We know that it's legal, and Just like when people turn 21, they like to start using or drinking alcohol. People like to use marijuana, and it's not going to be a disqualifier, and it's not going to speak badly or look or reflect badly on you to have that in your history. I will tell you, though, it's very important because we've had applicants contact us and say, hey, I wasn't quite sure. I think it might have been off about a month or so here. Civil service wants you guys to know and be very, very specific. Yes, this is the last time that I smoked marijuana. So you can say it has been that 365. And don't fudge the numbers, because it will come back to bite you in the process, especially when you're trying to nail it down with the investigators, because they will ask you that. And we've had applicants who just said, you know, I didn't want to miss the hiring process, and so I went ahead and applied, but it was at 340 days versus 365. It'll get you booted out. So just be cognizant of that.
Good set.
Yeah, good advice.
One other thing I would like to say really quick, circling back to the background process, a lot of these applicants, especially the younger applicants who are 21 and 22, have never done a background before, a background packet. And so we often get asked, what can I do, or how can I lay out this information? I always recommend that if you are uncertain about how to lay out your background, you can Google what's called an SF-86, so Sam Frank 86. That is a top security clearance packet for the feds. If you can use that as a template or a go by, that's a great example of how to lay out your background. You will have to still fill out our packet and any other department's packet that you're applying for. But if you're uncertain about what they're looking for in a background, SF-86 is a great way to lay it all out there.
Awesome. Great advice. Great talking to you both. And the students can go through Connect. They can go through Interview Now and contact you and get more information. Really great to meet you and talk to you today. Good luck.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, good to see you. Take care.
Right. Thank you.
Bye.
All right. Next up is Officer Benson from Washington, D.C., Metropolitan Police. I've been there, a great town, lots to see, our nation's capital. Officer Benson, are you there?
Yes, I'm still here. How you doing?
Good. How are you? We are going to ask you to just launch. There you. Whoop. We're going to ask you to launch right into your story and tell us something about your department.
Okay, my personal story is so I'm Officer Stephen Benson. I joined MPD in 2016, so I just have a little over 4 years here. I came into policing from marketing, actually, so I kind of crossed over. I was in marketing as a professional. I got an MBA in marketing, and I just saw a lot of things going on, and I just wanted to be the change I wanted to see in my community specifically. So I joined law enforcement, and I took my marketing skills into that, communication and stuff, and went to the 4th District where I grew up at. So I got to police the area that I grew up at, and it was just really great. Been building a lot of great relationships still to this day. I transitioned since then to recruiting and outreach, and pretty much my whole goal is just to continue to seek out the next generation of leaders for 21st century policing. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
So you're in recruit. Well, boy, you can't get any better than getting a marketing guy in your recruiting office. So tell us, what's the pitch? What's the pitch you make to people considering applying for a job? We see your graphics up on the screen.
Okay, yeah. So we got a slide. I guess we'll get into that a little bit, but just the pitch is so MPD. I mean, we're the nation's capital. It's a wonderful city in Washington, D.C. Lots of different diversity and communities here. We have a very diverse police department here. We have lots of opportunities, and there's a lot of room for growth. So if you, come to MPD, no matter where you live, we assist people who are out of state with temporary housing and or a stipend towards rental assistance. So it doesn't matter where you live. We'll help you out and make sure you can get over here to us. We have a virtual hiring process now that's really robust and simple. So you can actually start the hiring process from where you are. You don't have to worry about getting up out of your house. We have a competitive salary and just a lot of different opportunities here in the nation's capital. We work a lot with federal government when it comes to our USAO prosecutors and stuff like that. So folks looking to get that experience with a local department, it's a lot of great experience here.
Great. And so you've heard some of the questions that the students are asking about other peripheral positions, and what are the requirements to get in? Can you talk about that?
Sure. So for our requirements to get in as sworn, you have to be 20 and a half years old. You have to be a United States citizen, and you have to have at least one of the three following: either 60 college credits, or 2 years of active duty military with honorable discharge, or 3 years of professional police experience with another agency as a lateral. So those are the ways you can get in. Then there's other opportunities also for folks that are in the Washington, D.C. area as high school students, but I presume a lot of you all might not be in D.C. or from D.C. But yeah, we hire a new class every month of the year. So that's 12 classes, 12 academy classes a year. And the starting salary right now is $60,199. And after 18 months, the average officer can expect to make around $65,863. So, yeah. Oh, so I guess this is some of the slide right here. I can talk about that too if you want me to.
Sure, go for it.
All right, so this is our chief right here, Peter Newsham, and pretty much just to quote, a cornerstone to a successful police department is relationship that the department has with the community it serves. And that's one big thing here in MPD. We do a lot of community service and we have a lot of events. You could go to the next one. Try to slide through them. So yeah, just to show you guys, I mean, we work with the community all the time. We have great ties with the community. A lot of our officers either develop this community to be home, or they grew up here. So it's often that we connect with the community on a lot of different levels, and it's great to get your as far as law enforcement, you got to have a strong relationship with the community to actually close cases. And you go to the next one. And this just pretty much just touches on the city, our city. So it's for everyone who's thinking about traveling and coming over here and starting their life over in DC. It's a really great place to live. It's one of the best places to live for young adults. It's a lot of great education opportunities here for your family, and quality of life is really well. And there's a lot of opportunity to do civic engagement if you guys are looking to do other things, you know, off duty as far as helping people, because a lot of folks want to be the, you know, want to change things and help people. And it's a very diverse community. So all are welcome, and you know, you're going to find a community here that serves you. And you can go to the next slide, please. So just touching on that diversity, MPD has a very diverse workforce that mirrors the community it serves, and about 65% of our officers come from diverse backgrounds and ethnicities. So, you know, that really helps us when it comes to community policing, that you represent, you know, in language speaking and in culture and history and understanding. And you can go to the next one. Thank you. So just a little background history about MPD. We have a really interesting history. If you look back on us, we started back in 1861 by President Abraham Lincoln. And today we have about a workforce of about 3,850 sworn officers and 650 civilians working for the department. So we're a fairly large department, which is great because there's lots of different opportunities for you to make lateral movements and just move up the ladder in different ways. And upon graduation, officers will pretty much go to one of 7 of our patrol districts. You go to the next slide, please. So this is a very important one just to show you guys. So core functions to our police department, we do patrol in lots of different methods. So it's just based on, we customize our approach to patrolling based in the neighborhoods and the areas we serve. We have mountain bike trained officers, and that's a certification you can get right, you know, as soon as you get cut loose during your probationary period, you can get trained in mountain bike. We have officers that even patrol on foot beats still. That's classic, but it's a really great approach as far as building relationship and ties with communities and business beats. We have officers on segways, and of course we have traditional officers in vehicles as well. But you can, if you like riding motorcycles, you can get trained and certified to be a scooter officer or a motorcycle officer. You can switch to the next one. So this is the really big one right here. It's a lot of different opportunities. You can basically just pick your career path. So in 3 to 5 years, you know, you can actually advance. So the most recent sergeant test we had just needed people with 4 years on, and that 4 years starts at the day of your academy. So if you think about the fact that you go through the academy for about 6 to 8 months, you get cut loose, you'll have an FTO period where you'll be trained in the field for about 3 to 4 months. That's 1 year right there. So if you really think about, you know, becoming a sergeant and taking that test around 4 years, that's really not a lot of time. So there's a lot of opportunities to advance, but then we also have specialized units. With 3 years on, you can take the detective's test. We have our SWAT team that usually takes around 5 years. We call it emergency response team. And then what you can do also within your probationary period, you can join our crime suppression teams, which are units that help mitigate patrol officers, but they mitigate, serious crimes and violence in the district, and they pretty much do a lot of operations in that way. But we also have ways to assist you if you want to continue your education, because we really want to strive towards just helping you do what you want to do best. So, there's opportunities to go back to school at a reduced cost. Yeah, and you can go to the next slide. So this is just a picture of some of our specialized units and stuff. ERT is our emergency response team. You see in the middle, this guy looking real serious. They do a lot of training. They actually train us when it comes to our active shooter. So every year we have professional development training where we work with our SWAT team. They help us with active shooter training, different situations, new laws, and how we do scenario-based training, which is really great. If you like if you want to eventually get into aviation, we have our Falcon right down underneath the ERT guy. And the Falcon helicopter assists patrol in so many different ways, as far as just fleeing felons and from situations or events. And they also assist with large scale demonstrations, as far as just helping us navigate how we can assist people in their First Amendment assemblies and blocking traffic. We have horse-mounted units. We have canine patrol, and our canines have a diversity of things they do, whether it's drug detection, locating firearms, and bombs and explosives. So they're trained in lots of different disciplines. We also have a harbor unit. So if you want to ride a boat, smoke cigars, and have a good time, you can be a part of our harbor unit. And that's a really cool unit. And we have bomb techs, which assist as well. Because, here in the nation's capital, we have to have pretty much everything, because we're right here next to the federal assets in the White House. And next one, please. So this is important. Some departments are a little different than this. So what we do is we don't have like rotating shifts where you work day work and then midnights, and then we have straight shifts. So you can build some consistency in your life. So if you work day work, you work day work. If you work evenings, you work evenings. If you work midnights, you work midnights. And then we have fixed schedule. We work 4 10-hour shifts per week, and we have 3 days off. So, and in each year, we do like a matrix where we pick our days off based on seniority. So I know officers that have Friday, Saturday, Sunday off fixed. I mean, they might as well have a briefcase and have, it's like a regular job, But it's great having these fixed shifts, because you can build consistency. So I went to day work, and with me going to day work, getting off around 4 o'clock, I didn't really have to take off as much, because everything happens after 4, and I can hang on my family. I can still go to Thanksgiving, and just have a good time. But you can also, even though you might expect to work some holidays, you could put in your leave requests up to a year in advance. So, you can take your holidays off, if you want to. And you can go to the next slide. And this is just some of our benefits here. Like I said, we have temporary housing, we have recruit rental assistance, of course, uniforms, and equipment, no cost to you, life insurance and health insurance you opt into, attorney coverage. Of course, there's unit benefits. We have counselors 24/7 if you have experiencing trauma, either from your personal life or what you've seen on the scene. That's really big. We have a police and fire clinic, which is in addition to whatever insurance you choose, and have a primary care physician. Of course, there's tuition reimbursement and lots of other things, and initial and ongoing training, which is great. And you can go to the next slide. So this is one of the main slides right here. Like I said, the starting salary right now, $60,199. And, after about 18 months, you could expect to make $65,863. The great thing is that after those 18 months, you get a step increase at 2 years, and then you get a step increase at 3 years. So it really flies by. And this is not to include night shift differential. This is not to include any overtime. Like I've never, I'm a guy that likes to stay home, and I've never made my base salary, because it's always something going on, So and we're actually in the middle of a contract agreement, so we're going to look to even getting even better salaries moving forward. So but you get a lot of step increases as you start, which is really great. And next slide, please. So like I said, these are qualifications: United States citizen, 20 years and a half years old, and have one of the following: either 60 college credits, 2 years of active duty military with honorable discharge, or 3 years of prior police experience with full service agency. And next slide, please. And this just touches a little bit about our virtual hiring process. Real simple. If you guys just go to joinmpd.dc.gov, and I'll repeat that again, that's joinmpd.dc.gov, www.dc.gov. And once you go there, you're going to click apply now. You're going to fill out a interest card. And in that interest card, you can provide your email and your name. And then with that, you're going to be emailed a prospect day packet. That packet is just an initial screening packet that assists us with just making sure you meet the minimum qualifications. You're going to email that packet to our help desk. That's going to come in an email, but I'm just touching on it here. So it's helpdesk.oap@dc.gov. And then from there, once you email the packet, we're going to review it. We might call you if we need to. But then after that, we'll assist you with making an ESOF account where you can continue your personal history statement. This is all stuff you're doing from the comfort of your own home. You can do this right now. And then from that, we'll give you a voucher so you can take the National Police test, which is a really simple test. It's just like a test on behaviors and questions and the situation based. And then all the stuff as far as the physical ability test, the fingerprinting, the polygraph, the medical and the psych evaluation, that's going to be scheduled at a later date. We're going to do the background first, and we're going to do that later. And the great thing about all those things, we can do those in small environments. So we can do those with respect to CDC guidelines. We can do fingerprinting in small environments. We can do polygraph in small environments. And you might ask, okay, like if I got to come into the city for those things, so I can come multiple times, what we're going to do is make it real easy for you guys. So when you do travel to the city to do the last couple parts of the process, it'll be done in like 1 or 2 days. So you'll just be here to knock that out.
Awesome.
Next slide. Yeah.
I'm going to have to cut you short.
Okay, that's fine.
Is there one more? Oh, there it is.
Oh, we're done.
No, we cannot ask more questions because you hit them all. You've touched all the bases. Great job. Great meeting you. Really appealing. You can't beat the sights in Washington, D.C. And I think they hired the right guy to recruit for them. Good job.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you, Officer Benson.
Nice to meet you.
Stay safe. Be good. And
Thank you.
Look forward to having some of our viewers contacting you soon.
Absolutely. Feel free to contact me anytime. And thank you so much, Jim.
Yeah, take care. All right. So that was really comprehensive. We've seen a lot of the questions answered in that presentation, that slideshow from Officer Benson at the Metropolitan Washington, D.C. Police Department. And for our final agency, we would like to introduce from the Sunnyvale Department of Public Safety. I'll let Officer Vidal explain what that means. Doesn't say police department. It says the Department of Public Safety. And I know it's unusual. You don't have many of these departments left. So without further ado, Officer Vidal. From the Sunnyvale Department of Public Safety. I'll let Officer Vidal explain. I think we're on delay.
Okay.
So yeah, pop right in. Click on your video so we can take a look at you, and you can tell us about the police and fire duties. There you are.
There. Sorry about that.
Sure, no worries. So tell us.
So I'm Officer Vidal. I'm with Sunnyvale Department of Public Safety. Yes, I am a public safety officer, which is different from just being a law enforcement officer. Basically, every single person in our department is cross-trained between police, fire, and EMS. So I'm a certified firefighter, certified police officer, certified EMT. So I feel like all these aspects help us in the long run when we deal with difficult situations and even with our community.
Awesome.
So let's see. Basically, the minimum requirements to apply for us is you need to be 20 and a half, which means you turn 21 when you're in the academy, be a U.S. citizen. As for the education, I know some other people might be different, but you need to have at least 60 credits from college, from a certified school, or 90 quarter units. Let's see. So we also look through the background investigation and backgrounds. We look for people who have like a solid character, has to be honest, have integrity. We tend to hire a little bit people that are on a different level because we do all three. We need people who are very dynamic.
All right. And so tell us about the training for the three different aspects of the job. I mean, do you go out there with a gun and a fire hose and an axe and a first aid kit? How's that work?
So I'm actually like on duty right now. That's why I'm in this whole getup. But basically, so when I'm on patrol as a regular patrol officer, we get a fire call. So they send patrol officers to assist our fire department. or our coworkers that are on the fire side right now. We change out of this uniform, we put on our firefighter uniform, we go fight the fire, you know, fire suppression. After we're done with that, then we change back into this uniform and we go right on patrolling. Same thing with our fire guys. If we have some major incident, because we are a pretty small department, they can assist us, leave from fire and come over and help us. As for the training, our police academy is about 26 weeks. Our police field training is about 24. Our fire academy is 16 weeks. And then we have a 2-week period where we transition from the fire academy into, it's called like ADPO, where we learn how to be an engineer to operate the pump panel on a fire engine. And then we have a 26-week fire FTO program, which means you take your training from the academy and ADPO, and then you go into the firehouse and you actually work on their schedule. You work with your crew, you do that side. And then we also have the 8-week EMT academy. So all together, we have about 102 weeks of training. Wow. So we're continuously hiring. We like have to hire way in advance because of our extensive training.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. And so when they go in, if say a student or an applicant applies, they go through the process and they find housing in the area and then they go to a local academy. How's that work?
So we have an academy. We send our applicants to Alameda County Sheriff's Office. So everything is paid for through our department. Your uniform is paid for. All of your gear is paid for. Some other departments, they either have you pay out of pocket for your own things, or they give you an incentive later on in your paycheck. But everything is covered up front. So if you are like financially struggling and this is a career that you absolutely want to be in, you don't have that extra added stress.
Great.
And then, I mean, people tend to live closer to the academy area, which is like in Dublin, just because commuting wise, it's easier that way. And that's just for about 6 months. And then once that's done, they'll come back to Sunnyvale. And, you know, some people will live here, some choose not to. The area is a little bit more expensive. We are in California, but we do get compensated enough, well over enough to afford to live here. So our base pay within the academy as a recruit is $104,347. And we call it a top step is after you pass all this training and become a public safety officer too, it's $144,450. And I can be honest, as many years, the years I've been here, I've made over the 144.
Wow. Wow. I'm sure people on the East Coast are saying 144,000, but as you say, I mean, you know, everything's relative and you're in Silicon Valley where I'm about 10 miles from you. So I know what it's like. So you've heard some of the other questions of the other recruiters. Do you have other jobs if say somebody's interested, but they may not necessarily want to be a police officer or a firefighter? Are there other opportunities there at Sunnyvale?
Yes, we have like an extensive amount of, we have non-sworn positions and we have civilian positions. And then obviously the sworn position is a public safety officer. But because I know this is geared a lot towards college students right now, we do have something called the cadet program. So basically, if they're interested in becoming an officer or a public safety officer to get their foot in the door, they would do like a modified little background check, and then they would work for us a few hours. They just have to be a full-time, they have to just be attending college and meet like requirements like having good grades and all of that. So they can work with officers directly, see how we operate, and then just get the feel for the environment to see if this is something they want to do.
Okay.
We also have other positions, such as a community service officer. We have fire prevention. Our community service officers work with us directly on the streets. They'll do things that we necessarily won't do. So sometimes they'll take a lot of the workload off of us. So our traffic and things like that, they'll handle that. We also have vehicle abatement officers, so they work with towing vehicles and things like that. And then we do have incentive programs for like veterans or people who served in the military that come over here.
Well, some of the students are texting in and they're texting in questions about specialized units, but it sounds like going to work, you're in a specialized unit, depending on what day of the week you go in. So
Correct.
what else do you have?
So I'm also a crime scene investigator. So on top of the three main things that I do, I have a specialty unit of being a crime scene investigator. I know some other departments have non-sworn people as like technicians, but we get sent to our own training. So on the job, I'll change into my fire uniform, or I'll go ahead and process a crime scene, murder scene, whatever the case may be. We have our canine units, which works with our dogs, obviously. We have our detective unit, so you can be a investigator. There's, we have neighborhood resource officers, so they work with younger children or kids in school. So if you're more community oriented, that's something that you can get involved with. And then we also have, I like to say the crime scene side of things are maybe a little bit on the nerdy scientific side, because we do work with, you know, fingerprints and powder and like those things that people commonly see.
Right. That's great. Let's shift gears a bit as a recruiter. So it looks like you're all business. You're ready to go. I mean, if the call happens, I'm going to look at a blank screen, right? So
Yes, you are.
how often do you do recruiting, and what's that job like in your regular duties?
So there are officially 2 people in the recruiting unit, but they do ask, I'm one of the officers that volunteer my own time to help out with the unit, because I just like to help, and, you know, getting the people that are qualified to do the job and people that I want to work side by side with. And they also like to give others or our community like a visual face and put a face to the uniform, so they can get to know us better, and so people can understand that, hey, we're humans too, and, you know, we're just trying to do our job and get involved with everything.
Yeah. So last question from a student is, what could you advise on getting ready to apply? Maybe in the backgrounds, we've heard from another recruiter saying, get your background packet started now, your referrals and your references,
Right.
things like that.
So we made it a little easier. So basically, you can text SDPS jobs to 408-755-9686. Again, that's SDPS jobs, and that's 408-755-9686. And this is a number that you can text directly, and we have somebody who will respond within 24 hours and immediately get you the information that you want, specific to your, your questions. So you're not searching through the web and going through all that. So we specify it to Sunnyvale, just because we are a lot different. And then we can also send applicants a form like this. It's our Sunnyvale DPS FAQ form. So it gives you a whole list of everything that you will need immediately. And then, you have it all right there. So when you come over to us, we'll be like, hey, do you have all these things on this checklist? And you can tell us, yes, you do. So as for recruiting, I mean, it's a little different. I'm from Hawaii. I moved here for the job. They did recruit in Hawaii back in 2017, and there were 2 other groups after me as well. So we've hired people from, you can say, all over the world, because I'm from a little island, and we came over here and we've done well for ourselves. And I must say, I love the department, and it's done great things for me.
Well, that's awesome. That's awesome. I can't ever see leaving Hawaii to come here. But
I get that a lot.
yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much. Great meeting you. Great hearing about the department. Such a diverse and it's different than your average department. Thanks for your insights. And I'm asking the students to chat with us. Thank you. Thank you again, Officer Vidal.
Thank you.
Students, chat in your questions. We'll try to answer as many as possible. With that, we concluded with our last speaker and interview now. And I would like to thank all the recruiters for presenting to our students, as well as the students who attended our first virtual career fair. And as promised, we will give you all the opportunity to have the information directly connected to all the recruiters in today's event. So all you need to do is have everyone pull out their phones and text the word connect. You see it on your screen here. Text connect to 415-223-8383. 415-223-8383. Text to connect. And it's really quick. Take it 45 seconds or so. and we'll talk about our competition in a second. I'm Jim Dudley. It's been great hosting this first time virtual career fair in the time of COVID. And as you're all texting Connect, your information will be put into a dashboard and you'll be added to the candidate pool for agencies here and beyond. And now in your Eventbrite email, all of you should have gotten a link for today's competition. Please click the link in the chat to register in today's competition to have a chance at winning $500. I hope you're paying very close attention to our recruiters and what they were saying. And we're going to move over to Rob at the competition. And all right, we have a few people registering. We're going to give it a minute for everyone to register. What a great group of recruiters from all over, from way back east to here on the West Coast and in the middle of the country, the North and the Southwest. Aurora, Colorado, Dane County, Wisconsin, the New York State Troopers, Washington, D.C., Metro Police, Sunnyvale, Department of Public Safety, all great agencies. And great, I think every agency did a great job in selecting the recruiters that they put in the positions. All right, let's see, where are we? We're grabbing coffee, it looks like. We've got Julia, Jason, Flynn, Michael, Haley, Martabo, Maddie, China, Lena, Nicholas. Great to see everyone here. And we will begin the competition shortly. And text us and let us know how we did. Text us and let us know what else you want to hear. And we will see about getting the information to you. So thanks again to Officer Vidal, Syed, Wicklin, Benson, Trooper McLaughlin. It was great to meet you all. And great seeing all of you in the business, the industry. We're looking for people to join law enforcement right now. Now more than ever, we can use some really good minds and people into the business and to make it better. And you all have the opportunity to do that. So I thank you for logging on today and encourage you to reach out and sign up. All right, it's going to start soon. We are putting together the emails. And for those of you still watching who haven't yet done so, thank you for attending our virtual career fair. If you haven't already, text Connect to the number shown on the screen. And here's our first question. Department was started, whoops. All right, we're seeing the questions and we're seeing the answers. All right, I see some correct answers going up to the questions. Which agency is located in the safest, largest city in Colorado? Wow, we got some people that were listening and they were quick to answer these questions. All right. The recruiter used to rap and was raised vegan. Well, I have to be honest with you, and I didn't quite get that. So that's a guess, I think. The agency has public safety officers, both fire and police. If you've been listening, I'm sure you're hearing, you're answering that one correctly. Julia's answering, Taylor, Jason, Arian, Chris, Maddie, good job. Kylie, Cole, Tamara, Megan, Leslie, good job. And who was the first presenter? Kylie, Guadalupe, Howard, Alicia, Megan, you guys are jumping right on this. Tamara, Howard, China, Chris, Taylor. Good job. Keep it going. Keep it going. Julia. All right. On to the next question. What was the host's name? Zach, you got it. Jason, Howard, Kylie, Megan. Good job. There's actually 2 right answers there, but I think we know which one. Oh, if you got that one wrong, I'm going to disqualify. No, I won't. I was going to say I was going to disqualify you from all of them. Cole, Alyssa, Haley, China, Chris. Good job. What was the event called? What do we call this event? Some of those answers are pretty funny. Cole, Nicholas, Haley, Jason, Jared, Howard. Good job. Next question coming up. Boy, this is like a horse race. Taylor, Arian, Cole, Nicholas, Haley. How many recruiters were there? Julia, Flynn, Kylie, Heather, Zach. Wow, you guys are so quick. Leslie, Nicholas, Cole, Howard, Lena, Maddie, Roberto, Guadalupe, Alicia, Haley. Good job. Good job. All right, we're queuing another question. Get the buttons ready. How many agencies were there? Gosh, I can't read them. They're going by so quick. Guadalupe, Megan, Heather, Alyssa, Tamara, Zach, Haley, Nicholas, Alyssa, Megan, Arian, Elena, Jason, Amitabho, Kylie. All right, next question. Moving on to the next question. The question was part of the Connect interview. China, Flynn, Zach, Maddie, Haley, Nicholas, Alyssa, Tamara, Lena, Cole, Howard, Kylie, Jason, Roberto, Leslie, Taylor. Good job. Good job. Moving on to the next question. Don't stop answering just because you hear names going out. Wow, okay. We might have to have a tiebreaker. I'm not sure how this is going to work out, but Cole Long, looks like you got 10 correct answers. Jared Butler, you got 10 correct answers. Haley Barnett, 10. Maddie Reinhardt, 10. And those are our top 4 on the leaderboard. And the tiebreaker may be I'm going to wait for the Connect operator to let us know who the winner was. And I'm going to ask the students, everyone on board, great job. So many of you got 7, 8, 9, 10 of the answers correct. Make sure to look out for the follow-up emails to let you know how we did and to let you know how you did. I'm currently waiting to hear from the winner, and it looks like our clear-cut winner, because of how fast the student entered and got the most correct, and that was our winner, Cole Long, congratulations, Cole, $500. All right. Maybe we'll go to, which department was that? Was that the Metro Police where they said we could get on a boat and smoke cigars? All right. You've got $500. Cole, you're fastest. You got the most correct. So you're the winner. Congratulations. Well, it's my pleasure working with all of you today, listening to our great recruiters, and so happy to see so many of you log on and the enthusiasm and your interest in law enforcement today. We really need you. So follow through, make sure you apply and connect. Don't forget to connect by texting CONNECT to 415-223-8383. I'm Jim Dudley. I was your host today. If you're interested in hearing more about me, go to policeone.com and look at my articles, listen to my podcast, Policing Matters at policeone.com. All right. I hope today was informative for you. I hope you learned a lot. You definitely saw a cross section of some really good law enforcement agencies represented by really great people. I want to thank everyone at Interview Now and Connect for holding today's virtual job fair or career fair. And I hope to see you all again soon. So be safe out there and enjoy your summer and stay